So today we are going to cover the Power FX, some of the Power FX formulas in the Power Apps, because when we want to apply any calculation, or do you want to switch between screen to screen, or do you want to enter the text, if you need any concatenation between them, or do you need current date? So there are many scenarios where we need to use formulas in our Power Apps designing of the apps. Okay. While we develop, you don't write a code, obviously, but you need to write formulas to establish our logic. You should write something, right? Without writing anything, we cannot create apps. That too, that can be used by the business, and that can be used on your um, in your organization. Correct. So there has to be some formulas or logical place where we need to write anything to create our apps, right? So that is the reason I'll be focusing on what are these power effects formulas. I'll explain you some of the types of it, and then where we use some these kind of formulas and all, and what are the place where we write the formulas. Okay. So if it is a native, let's say a normal web development environment, so we write our code in a text editor. It could be VS Studio, or it could be Sublime Text. So we have different code editors in our market. Okay. And when we write the code on something and we deploy the solution in the browser. Okay, so whenever we make changes inside our VS Code, so that will be reflected in your browser. So that's how the web development usually works, let's say on a native React application. Okay, I'll show you some example. Okay, let's say for suppose this is the code which is present in my VS Code. Okay, so I'll link this code with the browser, with the app which I'm working from. Let's say I'm creating, let's assume this is the app I'm creating via React Native. Okay. So while I'm performing the operations here, so you can able to see the changes in my browser. So that's how, because I need to create a server in here. Okay. While creating the server, I'll create a link between this code and then that browser. Okay, that's how it works. But in our Power Platform environment, we don't use a different code editor kind of thing. Okay, we just use this formula bar. Okay, here it says, right, functions fx is nothing but formulas. So only we use this area to write anything, to apply your logic, whatever you write your functions, you write submit, screen navigation, anything happens only in this place. So whenever you write anything here, it will apply here. You don't need to go for any other outside code editors or something. Okay. So that is why it is easy to write and easy to learn kind of application. Okay. I don't know. Is there any chance that I can move it here? Okay. So for that, I'm going to take you to the Microsoft Power Effects page, which is in the learn.microsoft.com. Okay. Here you can see the documentation. There is some documentation here. Anyways, I need to uh, copy the same and then put it in your Word document and explain the same instead of doing that. And you also can able to refer when you have when you need any doubts or better understanding of any formulas. Okay. So you don't need to go line by line in this particular documentation. Just see, I'll explain you the highlights of it. Okay. So it's a low code language that can be used across Microsoft Power Platform. So not only in the Power Apps. So if you learn these formulas, okay, this can be applicable to complete Power Platform. Let's say in the Power Automate and then the Power BI as well. Let's say you want to uh, take a difference between two dates. Okay. The formula which is using inside our Power App, the formula which is using inside our Power BI are the same. Okay. there is no need to have a different formula. So that is the reason this learning of some functions are very important, because you don't need to by heart, or you don't need to, what do you call, remember anything. But when you are working on something else, you will get used to it some for that, for some formulas, right? So like how you need to get a grasp of this particular formulas. Okay. The thing is, you think like a spreadsheet. The Microsoft itself saying that when you create a formula in the spreadsheet is nothing but an Excel. Okay. Likewise, if you can see that the example has given in this particular documentation, he is saying that there is a string here. He's saying, "Hello world, it's great to meet you." The user wants to extract the last word in this particular string. Okay. In the Excel, he wrote this formula. Okay. If you see inside our Power Apps, the formula is looks similar, right? They have right, find, substitute, length of substitute. Okay. Only the referencing is missing. So here he is referencing A1, the cell which he is looking for. We are referencing input.text, because this is the place where we reference. And then yesterday we saw, right, how we reference a particular cell or a particular control. Okay. So it almost looks like an Excel. So when you know the Excel formulas, it will be a cakewalk for you. Otherwise, you need to have some learning curve. Okay. And the other thing is, as I said earlier, so these are all live formulas. So whenever we write anything inside, okay, so it automatically applies on your screen. So if it doesn't applies, that means you are writing some syntactical errors, or the value which you are the writing the formula which you are writing is not correct. Okay, there must be some error in your thing, and that error can be found here. Okay, so when you click this app checker, you have this formula checker. If you have any formulas inside, errors inside your formulas, that will basically show you here. When you click this, now we don't have any. That is the reason it's not showing anything. But you have any, so it will give you in detail like where the formula is actually missing. Okay, so that's how we need to uh, track our errors without. We'll write formulas without any errors. Okay. Yeah, if you can see here, the function which they use is RGBA. You might be knowing this. This is a color function where RGBA means red, green, blue, and A is nothing but the percentage of the intensity of the color. Okay. So in this screen, the user is actually taking the slide to 1 to 100. So as soon as he's sliding this, the color of this particular thing is moving. So it shows that the formulas are live. Okay. That's what he's saying. And here also is doing the same thing. He's actually having the order number, and he's having a lookup field for an employee table. I'll tell you this lookup field in the coming session. So he's writing, he wants an employee name, order value of an employee, whatever the orders placed by the employees or something. Okay. So he's doing, basically he's giving a name, and whenever he's actually sliding the order number, the names will come here. Okay. I hope it is visible to you. Do I need to zoom it in?
Yeah, better
Okay.
zoom it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you can see it is actually this actually fetching the data from your database live. Okay. And it is obviously a no code. I would say low code. So if the same thing you want to explain in a JavaScript, okay. Let's say here we have an employee name. We want to get an employee name. This employee name is in orders table. Okay. Let's example. Here he's showing the example. The orders table is having an employee name. Okay, because there has to be an employee who orders a particular maybe whatever he purchased, right? So to get that information in the Power Effects, in the Power Apps, we can do that. We can achieve that by writing this simple formula. But when it comes to JavaScript, see how complicated the code is. So first we need to understand what is this expand function, what is this end. Okay, so all these things. It looks like a Sanskrit for us, isn't it? But if you can see here, it is simply saying lookup for a table, okay, where the number equal to selected dot item, get the employee name, which is actually the first name. Okay, it is actually a readable format. Okay, this is not readable format. We need to understand how it's actually working. Basically, he's actually running some async functions, and then he's doing some calculation on top of it. Okay, and some features doesn't need to write a Power Effects formula as well. Okay, so let's say for example this gallery, what he's showing here. So if you want to make any changes in here, um, the picture of it or title and all that you can do it from here. You need to go to formula page and write the things. Okay. And we also have a feasibility of pro code at the initial stage of demo. I said right. So sometimes we need to for a different functionality we can write a pro code, VS code, VS by using this VS code. So in one of the project, I'm actually using this. What I'm doing is actually creating a web part in the SharePoint framework. Okay. So there are some web parts which are actually given by the Microsoft in the SharePoint, but sometimes user asks uh, a different web part. Okay, which is not available inside. He need a customizable web part. At that time, we may need to write the code. Each and every line you no need to write. Okay, the basic template or the boilerplate that will be given by the Microsoft itself. Again, just we need to link our what do you call our SharePoint URL website, and then we can able to achieve our logic here. Okay, so it's a pro code level. Only we use when we need a specific requirement that cannot be achieved by inbuilt components. Then only we go for the uh, SharePoint framework or the Power Apps frameworks kind of. Okay. So and we have some design principles. Okay, you don't need to much worry about all this stuff. Okay. So when you have time, just go through this documentation. You will have better understanding of what is this Power Effects formulas, why do we use this, all those stuff. Okay. And we have the operators. I think you people might be knowing this. There are operators in our software environment. Whatever the app you use, whatever the programming language you use, these operators and data types remain same. Okay. This greater than, equal to, and is used for the concatenation. In any programming language, in any software, these are the basics. Okay, so in any language, these are the basics. You must be knowing all this stuff. If you know, it is good. If you don't know, you need to learn this for sure. Okay. The operators, like if I can able to tell all this stuff, but that will take another 3 to 4 sessions. Okay. These are the basics. It's not a rocket science. When we want to add two numbers, what we'll do? We'll do it plus. When you want to divide two numbers, we'll divide. It's basically self-explanatory. Uh, when we use percentage, the name itself it's percentage. Equal to use for comparison. All right? All this stuff we learned in the mathematics, right? The same thing we use here. Okay. And we have different data types. Obviously, there has to be a type of the data, what we are actually using. The things that you need to know when with reference to the Power Apps. Okay. Um, Usually we have this integer, we have what do you call string, date are the common data types anywhere. This Boolean is actually a data type where it stores true or false value. Okay. So the currency data type stores the currency values. Obviously, the name itself says the currency, right? So we need to understand that there is actually an image data type. Okay. And then we have a choice data type. The choice data type is nothing but we use while we using the drop downs. Okay. And we have a record data type where the record of the values, the compound data type contains the instance of other data type that are listed in the topic. Okay. Let's say we want to create a particular record on the go. Okay. So let's say, for example, yesterday we were actually checking about the Excel. Okay. So we have a record. The record means a row in a particular Excel that is called as a record. So in that record, you have employee name, employee phone number, and employee ID. Okay. So when we use this record function or a record data type, so this will basically create a record like this on the back end that you don't know. Okay. And that will show you this record in a gallery or in a what do you call text label or anywhere wherever you require. Okay. Just uh, get to know that the data types are present inside our Power Apps. While we using those, while creating the apps, then we'll actually come across all these data types. Okay. We have text data type is nothing but a string, as you can see, the hello world. Okay. The table data type, the name itself says it's a table. It has obviously what do you call? It has again we have the records. Okay, this is the first record, this is second record. The table have the rows, right? Different rows. Let's say the table has 5 rows, it will create the 5 records. Okay. Yeah. And sometimes the data we get in the JSON format. So what is a JSON format? So when we get anything inside our web page, okay, let's say we want to extract some information from the web page and put it inside our Power App. Okay, that time the data source is actually a web page, and from that web page we need to extract the data. So in such cases, the table properties won't work and the Excel properties won't work. The record properties don't work. These are all don't work. Okay, because we are getting a JSON format. Okay, so we need to have a data type which actually parse that. I mean, let's say we are getting um, a weather report from MSN Weather. Okay, it has many fields like it has the humidity, UV, indexing, all this stuff will be there. Okay, in that you want only the location of that particular weather. Okay, so we'll get a JSON, and from that JSON we actually parse that JSON and we enter whatever the field that is required, and you have that information, and we extract that by utilizing the field property. Okay. Likewise, we can also extract the information from the websites. Okay. It looks like huge. I'm saying a lot of things at one go, but these are the things that you need to understand that okay, we have not only a basic data types, we have like only the integer, string, and date. The power effects data types are more than that. Okay. We don't have a basic things. We have always an advanced things inside our Power Apps. Okay. That is the reason I'm explaining you some of the data types. Some you already know, this number and float, right? The number is nothing but a whole value. The float is nothing but when we have an integer value. Okay. 8.90 is considered as a float. Okay. So this session consists a mix of a fresher and already an experienced guys. So if I say the number is 1 to 3, it seems like a boring for them, but who are actually uh, freshers, they need to understand this concept. That is the reason I'm going to the very scratch level of explaining the data types. Okay. Yeah, that's it when it comes to data types. So you don't need to worry about, I don't know all the data types and all. When we work on it, when you create some apps, we will get used to it. No problem. Okay, great. So let's use some of the Power Effects formulas inside our screen like we did yesterday, and then see how we actually leverage these things. All right, great. Let's remove some of these. Okay, fine. Good, right? You understand what is Power Effects formulas, why do you use, right? Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can you zoom that screen little
Yeah.
bit?
Okay. Is it fine?
Yes.
I kept to 150. All right. So these are the some common examples or basic things that you need to know before going to the next chapter. Okay, let's use this user functions. This user functions basically, okay, that returns the information about the current user. What does that mean? Okay, let's say if you can see here, I've logged in with my name. Okay, you have the environment. If you click here, you can see your name. The how we are getting these names and all. Okay, so this formula for that is, let's say in this thing, if you want to know, see where I'm writing this, I'm actually writing the formula. I mean this function inside our formula area. This is the user function. Okay, so this user function takes that takes this user and it provide you and it has some properties. Okay, so what do you like to see? So do you want to see the email? Do you want to see the full name? Do you want to see the object ID, or you want to see the image of the person? Let's say if you have any image here, so that will reflect. We can able to achieve that. Okay. So let's say I want a full name. Okay. As soon as I get the full name, I got my full name here, and then I can copy it and then again a paste here. This time I want my email address. Okay. So this is how we use our functions. This is how we'll actually extract the user information. Where do we know this? What is the purpose of extracting this? Let's um, write some use case. Just a minute. Let's say I want the whenever the user logs in. Okay, I'm actually inserting uh, an image. Okay, I'm actually trying to establish a similar thing like. Okay? So this image have some properties. So let's say I have and this. Nice. So as you can see, when I drag this inside this thing, I can't able to see this, right? Because we have a rectangle. Okay. This text is actually under this rectangle. Okay, it is not on top of the rectangle. It is performing like a layers. Okay, let's say on the back we have a screen. Okay, on top of that we have this text box. On top of it we have rectangle. On top of it we have this image. Okay, so if we want this rectangle to go back and then in that layers, so we can actually align the orders and we have this, right? Bring to front, bring front, bring forward, send backward, and send to complete back. So when I click that, see, so this rectangle actually went complete back. Okay, it is like to the screen level it went, and then whatever we see, it will be on that top of the layers. Okay, and you can also see here. First, we have image, and then we have this icon in this particular screen. So whenever I click this actually the control is actually highlighting. Okay, this rectangle actually went to this bottom of the screen. Okay, all right. So here I want to greet the user whenever he logs in. Hello, and the ampersand which I used, right? This is nothing but I'm concatenating these two strings. So this is the string that is a default string. Okay, and this is basically used dynamically. Okay, so when I do that, this font size is 15. And you want this to align to the left. Okay, it looks good with the image and all. So for the image property, again, I want the user to have, if we have an image, it will display. If we don't have any image, it will show this little person symbol. Okay. Yeah. So this is what I want to achieve when a user logs in. So I would say hello and the username. So if Sweta is actually logged in into this particular app, she will see her name on this particular thing on top of this thing. So these functions will basically works as dynamic. So whoever the user logs into the particular app, that will fetch the information and provide you the details. Clear? Okay. So this is the function which we use to get the user information. And the other thing is the notify. This notify is nothing but whenever we submit a request. Okay. Uh, mm, uh, we want to notify the user that, hey, this has been submitted. So it gives you a small green color thing on top of this. And if there is an error in that, so it will provide you a red color thing on top of this. Okay. So just notification to the user saying that, so whenever we place an order in an Amazon, it will show you the order has been placed, right? So that kind of notification it will get. This navigate, which I showed you yesterday, but I want to go for detail in that. Let's say this is the home screen. No, this is the detail screen, for example. So we call it as let's make this a little bit small.
Sagar,
And
I have a question.
yeah,
Sagar, actually, you say you call user function, right? So,
mm,
actually, backend you have connected to any data source?
no,
No.
no data source. So this application you are using in your environment, right? So this is your
Okay.
environment. Okay.
Okay.
So this environment has some features. Okay.
Okay.
So from that, it actually fetches that information. We did not
Okay.
connect to
Just
any
okay.
database.
Okay. Whoever connected that I mean login, so their name only display.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. That's how we will make a track of it, who made the changes in that. Okay. Because this app can be used by obviously multiple people in your organization, right? So if someone make the changes in that particular uh, app, okay, how do you know that who made that? Okay, so it obviously when we want to record this information in a table, so we use a modified by username. So it obviously fetch the information, whoever modifies that particular thing, and then store in anywhere. That's how we use on a day to day. So let's say you are using a Mintra app, e-commerce app. Okay. So the same as app used by me, right? So how do we have two different accounts for the same app? Okay. Because I logged in with my username. Okay. My mobile number. So I have my details associated for that app. Okay. If you logged in your Microsoft accounts, you have your account and you will have your details, right? So likewise, if any other user app uses this app, he has his information. From his information, he'll able to access this particular app. Okay. Whatever the data source, whatever you use inside this thing, that doesn't make any change. Okay. So these are the properties which are actually incurred by the Power Apps already. Okay. These are like inbuilt functions, I would say. Understand?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, it will fetch the username. That's it. Whoever logged in.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
The username, email
That
ID, and then the
okay. That will uh, whoever logged in, those I mean that data will be stored in any data source. Data. I mean backend.
whoever logged in, that stored in any data source. No, you don't by default.
Okay.
Okay, so there is a home screen. Let's we think this as a home screen. So again, we insert. Okay, now this icon has hidden backside. Okay, what we need to do, Sweta, to make that visible?
Right click on rectangle and back
Okay,
reorder bring.
great. So you are listening. Okay. So let's assume this as now I want to uh, write something here. Let's say I want to write something here as a home page. So what control I need to insert in here? I want to write something here. Okay, I cannot write like this, right? I cannot write here. So I need to have a place. What it is?
Label.
Yeah.
Text
Text label.
input. Text
Okay.
input.
Wonderful. So everyone is listening. So let's call it as home screen.
What is the
Mm,
difference between text input and text label?
okay. Here it is directly. This text label is actually a fixed thing. Okay. We don't want
Okay.
to you don't want to change it frequently, or it doesn't need to be changed all the time. Okay. But text input is something that we use when the user wants to input something. Okay.
Okay.
Let's think of a form. Okay, let's say you are creating this form. This I told you yesterday, right?
Mhm.
But that's fine, I'll explain you again. Okay, you have, let's say this is the form thing, and let's assume you have this submit button.
Actually, I got error. Actually, morning I
You used to
practicing that
try.
I select text label, so I got error.
So that is the reason. Yeah, that is the reason I'll tell to explore yourself, so you have these doubts. Okay, so now I click this. If it is a text input, I can able to write something. If it is text label, how can I write anything? I can edit this text label, right? So if it is a text input, I can able to input my text. So the name itself says text input. So whenever there is a need of inputting something into your text by the user, you use text input. Otherwise, you use the label. That's it. Simple.
So Sagar,
Simple, right?
simply we cannot perform any event on label. It's only for informative, like first name, last name, or whatever content we need to
Yeah, we
highlight.
don't perform anything. So that is the reason you can see you can perform if you want. So, but usually we don't perform anything on the labels. So it has on-select property as well.
Yes.
Okay. So let me think of a situation where
Label is like read only control.
yeah, read only control, but
Yeah.
let's say for example, we have a table, or else you want to edit this information, for example. So at the time, what I'll do, I'll insert a text label and we call it as edit. Okay. And to understand, let's make it underlinable. Okay. Now we have this thing here. So on click of this event, okay, maybe on select property of that event, of that particular thing, maybe we can say anything. What I would say from, we have from term. Okay, go to navigate to any screen, for example. Navigate to screen 8. Let's assume this is the scenario we have. We don't want to insert an icon for this. You can anyways insert an icon, but if you can click that, so it went to screen 8, right? So we can use the label as what did you ask? A controllable thing. We can actually create um what's the term you used?
Event to
make it
perform
make
event.
it sorry.
To perform any event, like
Yes, to perform an events. We can trigger an event on a label. There is a possibility.
okay. So
Okay.
left side that there are on select. So how many events we have, like on select? Like I think there are few properties also part of that drop down. Like,
Text. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
we
we
need to
have
filter
many
those.
uh
Yeah.
sorry, what are you saying?
I think we need to filter those event to understand what how exactly all those event work. Like visible, width, wrap, these are not a event, these are the properties, correct?
Correct. So not events.
Okay. Okay. For each
So the
control, we have
event is,
different event.
yeah, the event is only triggered by onSelect property in any control. Okay, that is the default name for all the controls. So when you want to perform any operation, okay, you want to trigger anything on that particular thing. Let's say in this button, okay, you have this onSelect property. So if you want to do any events, the default function is onSelect. So on select of this button, what we need to do? On select of this edit, what you need to do? So what you need to do should be written here. Okay, again, it depends on what your logic is. So if you want to navigate it, you want to submit it, you want to concatenate, you want to filter, those things that we will write here. You want to sort, you want to add, whatever it is. So all the performance, I mean, the logic for on select event, let's on performing that event, what has to be done will be written here. Okay. The control is simple. The property is always on select.
So just like where can we see these events on a particular control?
Ah.
So how can we see these events? For example, this control, these events are associated to this control. Where can we see? How can we see that? So this control is having set of events, right? For example, a particular control is having set of events. So how can we see that? Do we have?
Button control has set of events, you're saying.
Correct. Yeah.
Button control does not have set of events. It is having only properties. The event is only on select. So I think you are referring I mean RPA with this. Okay.
Correct.
So
Like see, for
Sagar,
example, there is a edit
our
label. Can you click
our
that
can
edit?
be a event, mouse hour or like those can be event, correct? So
Like click.
similar route.
So see for this button, any click, I
okay,
think there
one
will
at
be
a time. Let Chandra finish his doubt. Okay. Yeah, Chandra, go ahead.
for like for example, see submit button. There is a navigate, right? You showed navigate, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Navigate. Similarly, is there any click keyword? Is there click, double click, something like it is there? So
You
my
mean
question is,
on click, on double click, right?
uh, uh,
No, the on click in UiPath it is on click. In
uh.
Power Apps it is on select. There is no double click.
So okay, like these things, navigate, on, select. These things we
Uh,
have to remember. We have to remember, or
uh,
is it showing somewhere over here?
yeah, these are nothing but again functions, right? These functions only. That is the reason I started with the functions. So these
Oh,
functions, obviously, we need to remember or learn if you
okay,
want to
okay.
perform. Yeah,
Okay. So, yeah, because in UiPath, for example, when we expand something, it will show all associated this thing events to that.
obviously. Yeah,
So,
we
right.
we we might be not knowing like
Yeah,
navigate
yeah.
function is already existed. We don't know that how to navigate to screen to screen. Okay,
Mm, mm,
so yesterday you yourself asked that how do we navigate? So you know
correct,
that we need navigation, but you don't know that there is a function associated with the navigate. Okay,
correct. Yeah.
that thing is a learning curve. Okay, that we need to learn. There is no other substitute for that. For that, we need to refer this Power FX overview. Okay, let's say we go to formulas, for example. You want to navigate to particular screen. You don't know that there is a navigation is
Mm,
actually applied here. Maybe you come here, you put Control F. So maybe you can provide, you can ask that navigate thing. So it obviously taken to that particular thing. So changes this which screen is displayed.
okay.
Okay. So these are the only things that we use inside our Power Apps. It does not go outside these formulas. So you can anyways come here and then search for your requirement. Okay. Let's say I want to parse the JSON. I don't know that there is a function. So you'll come here and just simply keep your requirement. That's it.
This link is what learn.microsoft.com, right? Learn.microsoft.com, right?
Yeah, learn.microsoft.com. Under here you have this power effects. If you want, and
Can
I'll
you put
just,
this just can you put this link in the chat window so that we will copy?
yeah,
We'll have.
I'll So there is no double click in Power Apps, Chandra.
Okay, okay, okay.
There's only one click.
Hmm.
Okay, someone else is also asking some question. I stopped in between.
Uh, yes, Sagar. So mouse over can be a event here, like on submit button if we are hovering cursor. So
Mouse hover.
yeah.
Okay, mouse hover is like it cannot be an event. It is we can make it as a tooltip. Um, okay, let's say we have
Yeah, but
this.
there are our color and those things should be event, I think.
Okay,
Our
hover
color,
color
our
kind of thing.
how
Yeah.
yes,
Uh,
yes,
yeah, that is the problem. The naming conventions are different when compared to RPA and this thing.
correct.
You and me actually referring the same thing with different names. Here we call it as a properties.
Okay.
Okay, I'll show you that thing where it is. Okay, so let's say for example, it's actually hovering, right? When I hover it, there is a different color that is you are looking at, and the tooltip is saying this is submit form. Okay, so if you want to see that property, here it is, disabled color, the pressed color, the hover color. Okay, there are you call it as an events. I'm calling it as a properties.
A tooltip is also there here. Tooltip.
Yeah, it is there.
Okay, okay. Oh,
So
because it's a
whatever you show here, whatever it
Hmm.
displays here, the
Hmm.
same things will displays here. It's the same.
Okay,
That's
okay.
okay. Let's say in this thing, you want to change the hover color, you can come here and then change here. Okay, likewise. The events, you call it in RPA, here we call it as properties.
Properties. Okay.
Yeah, there is no particular thing called event. The event refers to only when you do some action. Okay, the on select event. Okay, these things we don't consider as actions. Okay, these are like a normal uh, thing because you going to think in the perspective like an app, or you are developing a website app. Okay, previously you are developing an automation process. Okay, you are
Okay.
actually creating an automation by using different triggers, by using an events. Your purpose is to automate the things. Now here our purpose is not the automation of the things. Here the purpose is to creation of the app and make user life easier to access this app. Okay, we are actually making digitalizing the process.
So
Okay.
Sagar, in any core programming like a .NET or Java, they have separate things like a event or triggers. But in Power App, I think we have direct option like a property. So they are not separating like
uh,
um,
yeah,
like events and properties. So
correct.
that's the easiest way to consider all as a property instead of separating in event and triggers.
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah, because this Microsoft has designed this basically Power Apps codes in such a way that those who don't have any programming language, knowledge of any programming language, can able to create the apps. If we say these many things, the event, the triggers, all these things, that person who is learning will run away. Okay, that is the reason it makes very simple things. On the right hand side, we have properties to do anything. On the top nav, you have formulas to apply your business logic. On the left hand side, you can connect and you can create your labels. You can insert, you can delete, you can rename it, all this stuff. That's it. Simple UI, nothing complicated. Okay.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I like these questions. You guys are actually asking good questions so that other people also will understand what is happening. Okay, so where were we? We're actually trying to navigate to different screens and come back to screen 8. Okay, in the screen 3. Okay, so now we have this icon which does the same thing. Okay, uh, I want to put again a button here that is actually doing the same thing. Again, it is actually navigating to our screen 1, which is our home screen. I want to rename this. Let's assume this is the button. Okay, so when we click this, we come here. When we click this, we come here. So it looks like a switching between screen to screen, right? You have a detail screen and you have this information inside our thing, and then you have a home screen which has the form details. Or you can use this 8 also to go to another screen. If you want to go to the detail screen with that edit on click of event, we can go. Okay. Yeah, these are the buttons. Navigate. Okay, I'm explaining this thing. Okay. So the now will get, obviously the now is anywhere in Excel and any other the places. It will return the current date and time value of a user's time zone. Okay, this is the place where we need to have a very key observation. Okay, because if you are creating an app in India and you are giving this to US people, okay, their time zones are different, our time zones are different, right? So it will fetch the current time and date with regards to the user's time zone. So this is the place where the users will actually have a problem because you apply some condition based on that time, and that is actually doesn't work in US because um, here the time is different, right? So we need to keep in mind that it is actually getting the information with based on the time zones as well, not only the time. Okay, it actually um, okay. So if Shweta applies the same now function, she would have get a different number here, right? Just keep in mind that this is actually not only this thing, the time zone is already included in it. Okay. And the choice is nothing but this I'll explain when we have thing. And the filter is used for to filter the data in a table. Okay, let's say we want a table here. We have a table here, and we want to apply some filters with with respect to whatever the user applies some search here. He's searching the first name. So obviously, this table has to filter whatever accordingly to what he's typing, right? So in that case, we use this filter function. This is empty is error functions are used to check whether a particular value is having an empty value or an empty string, or is that particular function is having an errors. Okay, the lookup is again the looking up for a value based on a certain criteria in any table. Okay. How can I show you the example of that? Okay, I'll explain this while we create something later. Otherwise, I will forgot. So these functions obviously are important when you want to convert a string to a number. We use value function. When you want a number or a date converts as a string, we use a text function. So we use this conversion of data types, right? Sometimes when we compare the things, or when the user wants to see some numbers stored in type format. Let's say we are getting the we are getting this data source as a text for each date, or else we are getting numbers in a text format, but inside our app we are asking consider them as a number. So in that time we are actually using this value function when you want to convert one data type to other data type. uh, in JavaScript, we have this convert function, right? So in the same way, in the SQL, we have that convert function. So we don't have any convert function here, but directly they have given you some functions to convert to one data type to other data type. So some of these are value and text. Okay. So these are the some of the formulas or the power effects functions, I would say. There are many. Okay. We'll keep on learning, and then we'll keep on getting more formulas when we do the, well, actually create the app. Okay. Uh, so yeah, so that's about the functions and thing. And the next thing is I want I want to show you some a sample demo of the creation of the app and utilize all our stuff what we learn now into that. Okay. So that we'll have an understanding of what we learn in 2 days. With that, we can able to create an app or not. Okay. Yeah, let's take a 10 minutes break for you. It's 1 hour already. Okay. Maybe have a coffee, go for a washroom break, whatever it is, and then come back in 10-15 minutes. That's fine?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I'll stop my screen share, and then yeah, you can take, and then we come back in 9:20. Okay. Come back at 9:20. Yeah, hi Manish. Hi Shubham. Who's this Shubham?
Hi, Vidya.
I did not notice you. When did you join?
Just Sagar,
Yes.
can you type your number in the chat window so that maybe after this class I want to discuss with you, I'll call you.
Yeah, you have inside this Power Apps training, right? I'm actually texting you in those.
Who is it? It's there?
Yeah, it is there. I texted you, right, in the yesterday as well. Are you there
Okay.
in this Power Apps paid
Right.
training
Yeah,
school?
I'm there. Yeah, yeah. Wait, it's there. Yeah.
I'll ping you in there if you required.
Yeah, yeah.
This is my number. Okay, that message is mine. Shubham, can you introduce yourself? This person is a meeting guest and doesn't have Teams account. Verify. Manish, we don't provide you the link every day because this is not a Zoom meeting,
Yeah,
right?
actually, I
It's
just forget
actually.
my office system ID. So somehow I just track it and recover it. So I log it.
Okay. Great. Anyways, that is the reason I actually created a Microsoft account for you guys. Chandra, basically, I need to create an account for you.
Hmm.
Okay. So connect me after this training. I will create an account for you. And you no need to log into Gmail here on. You just need
Hmm.
to come to, I'll create an Microsoft account like how we use in our Teams and then Outlook and all in any organization.
Hmm.
So where you have the option of creating your apps. Okay.
Okay, okay, okay. So at what time we can connect?
Yeah, after this call.
And after this class now I have to go for breakfast. Maybe I'll call you sometime. 3 o'clock is fine for you. 3 o'clock today.
Okay, but that's fine.
Yeah, I'll call you in the second half. I'll call you anytime. So,
Yeah, that's fine. Make it 3. Let's make it 3.
yeah, yeah. So where you have pinged your mobile number?
In the Power Apps paid training, you are not there in that. Let me check.
I'm there. Why it's not game?
You have your name is H Chandrasekhar, right?
Ah,
948221908. That's your number.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Sagar, it is there late. So in the group info I have seen Sagar. It's there. Okay. Found it.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm away. I'm going away from the system. I'll come back in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, it's 9:25. Okay, I'm back, guys. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes, Sagar. Ready.
Great. Shubham is not talking. May I know who is this Shubham?
Yeah, hi, Vidya.
Hi, hi.
Yeah, I've like wanted to learn about the Power App, so yeah, was keen on learning the doing this course.
Okay, great. Uh, but you have joined today?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Is your number inside this group, Power Apps training group?
Yes, my in training groups it is there.
Okay, okay, great, great. Yeah, you can pick your number here in the chat. Okay, once finishing with the session, we can able to connect.
Okay.
You was invited by
Anupam,
because Ankush.
yeah, Ankush, yeah, I got
Okay,
accept.
okay. All right, not an issue. It's fine. All right. You can just text your number here. We'll connect after the call. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay. Great, guys. So how we gonna do that? I mean, I'm thinking like, will you guys want me to create an app from a template from scratch, or do you want guys you to start the practice? So how do you guys want to know? So let's say yesterday I created one thing in Excel, and then we are actually getting the data. Now we are actually publish the data into the Excel. All this kind of stuff will be done. Do you want to me to try first and then you do later, or you want to give a try, you guys? So how do you want to take this?
No, like first you show like how you are doing. Not same way you show first.
Okay.
So after that we will practice.
All right. Okay. Fine. Save this and yesterday we created one Excel here, right? Mm, and
Your screen is not shared, Sagar.
what is it?
Your screen is not shared.
Oh, my screen is not shared. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay. Um, Sharing now. So this is from this data, we are actually creating an app on top of this data, let's say. So this is basically an HR data. Okay. So it has an employee name. This is actually a sample data which I got from the internet. And you have a gender, male and female. And you have age. You have a rating for that particular employee. And then you have a joining date of that. And then you have different departments associated to it. And then you have a salary for that, and then the country. For creating of any apps or for creating even a Power BI report, first we need to understand the data, what data we are working on. Okay. So the understanding of the data is very important because based on this, we are actually creating an app. Okay. If there is any cleaning is required before going to the app, first we need to clean that data and then we were actually uh, going to use that. Okay. Let's say, for example, in this name, you might be having a first name and the last name that we can able to do that. The concatenation of the first name and last name we can able to do that inside our app as well. But if there is any possibility of doing beforehand, okay, we can able to do here itself, and then we get this Excel into this Power App or any other thing. Okay, so this data is nothing but uh, we can use this data for the Power BI report as well. The same data, the same data can be used for the Power Apps as well. Okay, the same Excel. I'm saying the same Excel can be used twice. Okay, based on this Excel, maybe in the Power Apps Power BI presentation also, I'll explain you with this data only. Okay, I'll incorporate that Power BI tile into this Apps as well. Okay, with this data, let's say. So first we'll understand that this have a text column, a text row, I would say text values. This is also a text which has, okay, only two options, which is male and female. What kind of controls that we can establish in that Power App? Uh, can you guys guess? We have male and female. What kind of controls we use? We have
Drop down.
different. Yes,
Drop down
drop
or
down. Any other thing?
Combo box.
Combo box. Any other?
List.
Yeah, these are the same. The list, combo box. Yeah, these three are there. Wonderful. Next,
Option.
options.
Radio buttons.
Wonderful. Radio buttons. Yeah.
Radio.
See, we have these many options. Okay. You can use anything depending on your requirement. Okay. The user, see, when we use apps, okay, mobile apps, basically we touch the apps, right? So we would like to reduce the number of clicks when compared to clicking, let's say, when the user wants to click a drop down. Okay, first he need to click a drop down. So the drop down will open and the user will select a male and female. So there is two clicks. Okay. So if we use this as a radio button, okay, there is two options or a checkbox. There are two options, male and female. The user just needs to click one time, right? Or select one option at one time. So to make users' life easier, instead of two clicks, we actually use one click. Okay, we can use two clicks. It's not a problem at all. That is how we need to think in UI UX point of view. Okay, the UI UX concept in apps creation is very important. This UI UX nothing but user interface and the user experience. So these two are the when you learn any front-end development course, so they'll concentrate you on this particular topics. Okay. So how better we design our apps so that user will feel like easy navigating between the screens. Okay. Uh, if the user wants to take his finger to the top, instead of taking his finger to the top, why can't we keep this option at the bottom of the page, right? So nowadays, previously, if you look at the apps, okay, the menu bar is on the top. Okay, now you see any apps, the menu bar came to the bottom of the screen. Okay, because the user doesn't wants to go move his finger to the top and then click the any events or any buttons. Okay, so these features will uh, I would say leverage what is that word called? Go with the flow, no, trend. Okay, so these will actually um, habituated or I would say uh, anchored a habit of leverage. I'm going too much. Okay, let's keep it simple. Okay, basically, we need to make simple user interface. We will try to reduce the clicks. Okay, to make the user less clicks and then a better experience while navigating to the app. Okay, so that you keep that in mind always while you develop the apps. Okay, the is just a number. Okay, number thing. And then we have a rating. For this rating, we have average, above average, and poor. Okay, so I think we have three dimensions for that.
We are very poor also.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 options. So in our control, we have one control called rating, right? The stars giving in that particular control. So we can use this thing. If the user thinks that it is very poor, then we give 1 star, 2 star, so like that. Okay, that we will see later. And then again, this is the date. This is again a department is um, a drop down. So here, okay, since it is male and female, we leverage the utilization of uh, what do you call the radio buttons. Okay, so when it is departments, so keeping 5 radio buttons doesn't looks good, right? So it doesn't look good if we have 5 radio buttons on the screen. So in this scenario, we use drop downs or the combo box or the list or the options. Okay, so depending on the requirement and the data which we have, we basically trying to use those controls. Okay, that is the reason we have many controls for the same doing the same thing. Okay, this combo box and this radio button will do the same thing. It will select any one of the item in a list, right? It will give the same thing. Then why do we have three different controls? The reason is it improves the user experience. Okay, that is the main goal of it. And we have obviously a currency thing, and then a country is like India and New Zealand. Okay. Okay. So before doing anything, understanding of the data is very important. If the data is not correct, our app is not going to be correct. Okay. So that is the reason I'm explaining when even when you get a job or a developer, any kind of thing, first sit and then understand the data. What are the columns we have? How better we can able to what are the controls we can able to achieve with this, and then uh, what in what screen I can use this. Okay, is there any other column is needed, okay, to get a better interaction? So these kind of stuff you will first understand, sit, take time, take a 1 hour or half an hour, and then go for the creation of the apps. Okay, don't go directly to the app and try to get the information. Okay, just keep this in mind. That is the reason I'm explaining you what data that we are working on. Okay.